Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for The Amazing Spider-Man issue 34. Crazy cover, and it kind of fits with what's going on in here. And I enjoyed this one. Now granted, it got into the territory that I was afraid of him going kind of, hey, it's pretty much Green Goblin in Peter's body, but they actually do a good enough job of being like, Pete's still in there, and he's still kind of fighting shit that's kind of going on. So, we start off in the Harlem Hospital Center as we see Janice and Robbie pretty much dealing with the fallout of what was going on. Her calling him out of like, I don't know why you're here. He can't hear anything you have to say. I'm not just checking on your dad, Janice. I wanted to see how you were doing, too. How do you think I'm doing? My dad got shot at my wedding, and the man I was supposed to marry has ignored me since, but somehow has time to petition the mayor about bringing down crime. My parents could have been killed. You too. When I see something bad happen, I get involved. Always have. We have to be proactive. So you came here to tell me you're coming after people like me, like my dad? No, that's not what I meant. It's like, just in that kind of one page, it's like, wow, that's a lot of shit. But then we hear beeping, what's going on, and they go in. We see that Tombstone is destabilizing. Somebody turned off his ventilator, and someone unplugged it. What? Please, no. Bring me a BVM, damn it. Who? And then we see that it's Pete running out. I love the use of the webs here, as we then see the next page where he's laughing maniacally, and Robbie's like, who is that? And he's got pretty much the craziest ha going on. It's like, shit, that's fucked up. Then we see that Norman gets in contact, pretty much bursting into Mary Jane and Paul's place, being like, listen, you guys are not answering your phone. And of course Paul's like, we don't want to be bothered. Are you okay, Norman? It's not me I'm worried about. Pack your things, you need to get off the island. And then Paul's like, hey, take it easy. It's like, I understand you don't want to be bothered because of all this shit that went down, but I need to contact you because something really fucking bad's going on. And I'm like, yeah, Norman's kind of going crazy, but yeah. He's like, you're in danger. She's like, I can take care of myself. What's gotten into you? Not me, something's gotten into. Peter, what? Can I help? No. What I mean to say is Peter sent me, someone is trying to make him look unhinged, hurting people. Hurting people who may hold a grudge against, no matter how petty. Looking at Paul. Better safe than sorry. I'll get the car. It's like, thank you for actually getting the understanding of what's going on, even though Norman lied. We can head upstate. The bridge will be moving faster this time of night. Trust me, take the tunnel. And because, of course, goblins have fucking history with bridges. Of course, we then have Craven being like hunted, thrown in darkness, alone. Matches so you can see. And then him being buried alive with the gun as well. No escape except one. Of course, killing himself. Father's gun, his gun. Let's see. Which one will take me first? Which darkness? It's like, yeah. Okay. Not a good place to be there. Then I like how he shifted and do the same kind of thing with Norman. As he's like, what are you doing, Norman? A grown man sitting in the dark. Turn on the light. Don't you want him to come? You can talk to him. Make sure he's okay. Or are you scared? Because you know what's inside him. Because you know what you have to do. No, never. Stop this. You're a grown man. Turn on the light. Wait. And then he turns on the light and we see the outline of the spider there. And that is just really well done art. I mean, I've been happy with the art. And it's just like, goddamn, that's not good. Hello, Norman. Peter, you haven't seen Paul around, have you? Well, why? No reason. Ha. This isn't like you. I'm not like me anymore. I'm like you. And then we get back to Craven, saying that he's his father, his sins are my sins. Of course, ruminating on sins and everything because of how important it is with like Norman's and his. He told me his mother was crazy. Your mother. I don't have a mother. I don't have anything, as he looks like he's about to pretty much shoot himself to get himself out of this. But then we see that like a bit of the coffin is cracking with his foot. He's like, let me out. Do you know why I tolerate your existence, Norman? Peter, stop. And then we see that it's then juxtapositioned with Peter talking to Norman as Craven pretty much busted his way out of the coffin. I didn't realize it until my mind caught fire. It's because I know someday you'll show your true colors again. And I like how his eyes then start kind of narrowing as the panels go down. And I'll get the chance to do what I should have done years ago. And then Norman's telling him he's his friend and to stop. It's like, ah, shit. He's like, friend, as he tosses him across the room. Do you think I forgot what you did? As we then see that, like, the mask kind of rips apart as he's shouting. It's like, god damn, that's nuts. And we see that Craven's pretty much in a position that he might suffocate by the, like, dirt pouring in. And then we see that Pete just starts unloading on Norman. What mercy did you show Gwen? Answer me that, Norman. Answer me! None. I showed her none, and I live in hell because of it. Don't let him do this to you, Peter. And that, of course, then gets us to an important kind of bit showcasing that Pete is kind of fighting this. As we see the goblin pretty much leave him, we have a pressing appointment elsewhere. Him? And we see him kind of, like, having to, like, how this overpowering influence is there. As they kind of continue to beat him a little bit. It's like, ah, shit, attaboy. The feelings. It's why you did everything, isn't it, Norman? I thought it was a fluke when I buried Craven alive, but it's not. The people who hurt you, it feels so good to hurt them back. I'm going to get all of you. I'll throw Otto into a nuclear reactor, feed Eddie his own brain, but first I'm going to pay a visit to Paul and Mary Jane. Leave them alone. I wish I could, but when I think of throwing Paul off the top of a ridge and seeing if MJ can catch him with her new fancy new powers, I gotta tell you, just makes me smile as he's laughing and Norman's kind of like fading out of consciousness with Pete's mouth and blood. It's like nuts. This is really kind of worst case scenario. It's not just complete pasting on of the Green Goblin's kind of sins. Though granted, if somebody's like being like, I think that's kind of what's going on. I get that. Because this, in my opinion, when I'm looking at this and seeing the kind of fusion, it's the understanding of Pete's frustrations then being like corralled and controlled by the maniacal insanity of the Green Goblin. And then him being like, I'll throw Otto in a reactor. I'll feed Eddie his own brain. I'll do all this shit that these people have been doing to me. And it's like, ah, shit. Norman and the Green Goblin do revel in that hurting of people. It's like, shit. So we switch over to the Queen Goblin. Queen Goblin, right? Yeah. And she's like, of all people, I should know the definition of insanity. And still, I tried every mirror in the house. They all showed me the same thing. Norman's sins may be gone, but I'm still the queen. Our ceremony went awry, and Craven pays the price. Do I feel guilt, or am I just desperate to believe I've changed? As we see she broke through all the mirrors. It's like, yes, because, granted, even though Norman's kind of sins, like, forced her to certain kind of things, she's still kind of in this position that she doesn't want to be in. Absent or Osborn's curse, will I let my lover die for my obsession? Only one way to find out, as she then goes to get, like, this American Gladiator battle ball thing. It's like, okay, interesting weapon. So we see that Craven is trying to figure out what can go on. He pretty much attempts to shoot himself first instead of suffocate. It's like, ah, shit, that's not good. Then we get to the Holland Tunnel, and shit gets fucking nutty as hell. Paul's like, man, we should have taken the bridge. You believe that stuff Norman was saying? I don't know. It's Norman Osborn. He's not exactly a stranger to paranoia. But it's like they say, paranoia doesn't mean no one's out to, as we hear boom, boom, booms and explosions and shit's going on behind him. It's like, oh shit, get down. As we then see one of the craziest kind of things as it's a bat out of hell fucking look of Pete with a kind of jetpack thing with goblin shit blasting. Well, it's not, it looks like goblin stuff, but it's still got this spider stuff because we see it like hurting people and little spiders going everywhere as Mary Jane and Paul are screaming. And everybody else like, ah, get him off me, run. And we hear him like, ah. Now granted, then one kind of bit that I have a problem with is this is not clear at all. We've got this one little slice panel here, like a small sliver of pie. And I did not honestly understand what the fuck happened at first until I've been like looking at this a little bit more to review it, but evidently Pete gets knocked the fuck out by something, and I'm just like, alright, I don't mind it, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. So we pretty much see that Craven's pretty much suffocating. It's like, ah, shit. He can hear, like, the last of his heartbeat closer as we see this fucking spear coming through, and then he grabs it and gets pulled back out. Who pulled? Damn it! And then we see it's two things. We see that Pete's like, who did this? And we see somebody pulling Craven out. It's like, you. And we see that I do like the way that's done as we then see what has happened. We see the Queen Goblin is like, this is not your destiny, and you're going to help me put it right. As she's got like the flaming goblin ball, like American Gladiator doodah, and Norman has used the spear to pull Craven out, and I like how they both kind of have dialogue that like fits together. So evidently they've kind of teamed up to kind of fix this whole kind of situation. So that is going to be the nuttiest kind of place to kind of get this through. And of course, seeing the kind of look of the next cover is just fucking insane. It's like, oh god. So we'll see how this kind of works out. I was leery of this at first because when I first saw what was going on, Pete getting stabbed with like a Norman Osborn sin spear to pretty much make him Green Goblin Spider-Man, I'm just like, oh god, this could go horribly wrong. Now, I don't blame you if you think it has gone horribly wrong. I think that they amped him up enough, but balanced him out enough in this issue to it not just be they made him Green Goblin and Spider-Man. You know what I mean? They at least put some more kind of nuance and some different kind of tactical thinking that Peter would have in this kind of frenzied kind of state versus Osborn. So we'll see how this kind of works out, and definitely see Norman working with the Queen Goblin and how they're going to kind of fix this and what their kind of end games are. We see that the Queen Goblin wants to get back to some kind of normal state. Norman wants to get Peter back to a normal state and not be infected by the Goblin sins. So this is a scenario where I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work out. There's a lot of different kind of avenues, but if they have somebody making a deal with the devil, I'm not going to be happy about that. Okay? Oh god. I don't think they'll go that route, but I did like that we got to check in with Tombstone, even though it was like, hey, I'm nutty-ass Spider-Man, and I'm going to unplug this fucking ventilator on Tombstone. But I do like that we got a small check-in with Janice and Robbie, even though it was very brief, but I like that the most bulk of it was dealing with Peter and what his kind of goals are as he has been infected with Norman's sins, and how Norman needs to kind of deal with this, and how he's kind of on the back foot, but then getting to an end at the point where he's working with Queen Goblin to actually rectify this situation. So it's nuts, but I'm along for this train ride, and I'm interested to see how this kind of ends. And if you don't agree with that, that's cool. You can wait for, I guess, the next run of Spider-Man, see how Gang War works out. If you're really not into this, if you're not into this creative team, I totally get that. But it's weird. I did not think, I did not think that I would be that into this, because I'm like, oh, okay, new creative team, let's see what's kind of going on with Spider-Man. And it just, I did not expect to be reading 30-some issues into this, and I'm just like, wow, this is nuts. The stories are kind of crazy. The art works out pretty well. I like the different kind of artists that we've been getting, so I can't wait to see where this kind of goes next. So, those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.